Welcome back, Custard Nerd fans, and today I will be going over my top 10 roller coasters at Hershey Park. Keep in mind, I did say top 10. In this list, I will not be including Storm Runner, Sooper Dooper Looper, or Wild Mouse, as when I was there, those three attractions were closed, so I was not able to ride those. And currently, as of 2020, Storm Runner is closed for the rest of the season. And from my understanding, same with Sooper Dooper Looper. And when I was there, they had some staffing issues, so they were not able to open up the Wild Mouse, which kind of sucks. And then you're trying to probably thinking, well, there's 14 coasters technically at Hershey Park. I will be not adding the Coco Cruiser, just because, of course, that is a little kid's attraction, and I did ride it, and obviously that would just carry off as number 11. So I think that's kind of understandable why I will not be putting that on my list. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy my personal top 10 roller coasters at Hershey Park, which is the sweetest place on the planet. Number 10 on my top 10 coasters for Hershey Park is Sidewinder. This is a normal Vekoma boomerang. It does have the new trains. Very much, it fights the track in my opinion. So it isn't really the most enjoyable ride. I did get one ride on this, and I thought it was pretty janky. And for such a world-class park like Hershey, it definitely should not have a boomerang, even though that was really popular in the 90s. But yeah, out of all the rides at Hershey Park that I think they should definitely take out, Sidewinder should be that one ride that should be taken out. But anyway, that is my number 10 roller coaster at Hershey Park. My number 9 roller coaster at Hershey Park is Trailblazer. This is an aerodynamics mine train, and it's a pretty casual mine train. Compared to what it looks like Sooper Dooper Looper, it really doesn't have that terrain that you would expect it to. It's a pretty casual ride, pretty good. Definitely the tamest mine train I rode on the trip. Compared to the one at Great Adventure, which that thing is wild with that ejector hill it has. But anyway, Trailblazer is a good family attraction. Definitely wasn't a standout attraction. Definitely older, you can definitely tell, but they did repaint it, and it looks phenomenal. But out of all the rides at Hershey Park, it definitely gets the bottom of my listings at number 9. Number 8, Lightning Racer. A lot of people are going to probably be like, well, it's like one of the best rides at the park and stuff. I went in with fairly high expectations, expecting, oh, this is going to be one of the best rides at the park. I got off feeling like Lightning Racer was worse than Wildcat. And that's kind of a surprise, because a lot of people hate Wildcat, but honestly, I did not find Wildcat that bad compared to Lightning Racer, which I'll go over a little bit later in the video. But anyway, Lightning Racer, number 8, I thought it was pretty boring, really wasn't that exciting. The dips and turns weren't that great. So that is my number 8 coaster at Hershey Park. My number 7 roller coaster at Hershey Park is Laugh Track. This is a pretty weird indoor roller coaster. It is a spinning coaster. It has some really funky theming. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's pretty cheap, of course. Kind of feels like a cutouts, kind of like what Bizarro is at Six Flags Great Adventure with the cutouts and stuff. But overall, though, this ride is pretty good. Pretty intense. I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of weird with the theming and stuff. Definitely one of those funky, weird rides that you should definitely check out. And honestly, I think the whole entire family would enjoy. Unless you're scared of clowns, then understandably, you'd probably be a bit scared of the ride. But it's not too big. really funky, really fun, just really, really different compared to all the other spinning coasters that I have ridden. But yeah, Laugh Track takes it at number 7. Number 6 on my top 10 Hershey roller coasters is Comet. This is a Philadelphia toboggan roller coaster. Really old. Honestly, it's really smooth for its age, which it's almost 100 years old. I thought it was really fun. The airtime was pretty good. But I mean, I had a bit hyped for it because I've heard so many good things about Comet, but that was pretty decent to put it in the middle of the pack. Not the best roller coaster at Hershey Park, but definitely one of the better coasters as we're getting into the good stuff with the top 5. Number 5 is Wildcat. This is GCI's first roller coaster, and honestly, this thing is super underrated. I've always heard so many bad things about Wildcat, got on it. I rode it like 3 times. Honestly, yeah, I mean, it's a bit rough, but Wildcat definitely is the middle of the pack for me at Hershey Park. Then again, that will definitely change when I get on Storm Runner and a few others that were close when I was there. But anyway, Wildcat, when I was there, was running ridiculously smooth in my opinion. I thought it was a fantastic ride. Definitely not the best GCI in the world. Not even close to some of the best GCIs. But still a really enjoyable ride and one of my favorite coasters at Hershey Park. Number 4 on our top 10 list for Hershey Park is Great Bear. This is a very, very wonky B&M inverted roller coaster, but I absolutely love this thing. It is one of my favorite inverts. Not as good as Montu or some of the other rides, inverts I've ridden, but definitely it is an underrated invert. Really didn't have much going into it. But it's a phenomenal ride. The helix was super intense before you go to the first drop, I guess you would say. The inversions were really good, they're really intense. I got like 10, 15 rides on this thing. Super intense, super good. And especially with the weird wonky layout, it definitely deserves a top 5 listing at Hershey Park. Number 3 is the newest addition to Hershey Park, which is Cannibalium. This is a B&M Hyper, a pretty casual B&M Hyper. The only difference between this and the other Hypers is that it does do kind of a helix loop around this really cool fountain, and it does have 1 hill instead of 2 going before you go into the overbank. But I thought this was a decent ride. Definitely not my favorite B&M Hyper, as Mako and Diamondback and Nitro are all up there as my top favorite Hypers from B&M. And it definitely does stand out as a really graceful ride that the general public will fall in love with, compared to Sky Rush, which is their other hyper coaster, which we'll get to in a little bit. But definitely Cannibalium is fantastic, and I can see this being number 1 in the park. But for me, compared to the other B&M Hypers I've ridden, it really just doesn't do it for me. It's a good ride, but compared to the other 2 on this list, I find those a lot more fun, and I enjoy those a bit more, and I'll get to that. Number 2 on my list is Fahrenheit, which is an Intamin looping coaster, and honestly, I am a massive fan of this ride. I got about 10 rides on this thing, and I thought Fahrenheit was phenomenal. Okay, so it's a bit weird compared to normal B&M looping coasters, like Incredible Hulk or Kumba, which I've ridden Kumba a crap ton of times, but it kind of throws in that with a Gersler Eurofighter, which I've ridden Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia, and it just gave me that vibe for the chain lift as you go straight up vertically. Then you do a 95-degree drop, and then the rest of it's basically exactly what a B&M looping coaster would do. So I just love the fact that they put the two of my favorite ride aspects into one. I mean, it's not 4 across, of course, it's 2 across, but that's the reason why I love Fahrenheit so much. I love the drop, I love the inversions, and this thing doesn't get talked about enough for its airtime. There's some really good pops of airtime on Fahrenheit, and I'm really surprised no one talks about. It gives some really good ejector and some really good floater moments. But anyway, for my number 2 pick for Hershey Park, Fahrenheit is my number 2 favorite coaster. And number 1 should be no surprise, but number 1 is Sky Rush. This ride is so fun. I got 5 rides on it. Wish I got some more, but the line was long, like all day, and the operations were really slow. But besides that, Sky Rush is amazing. I rode mostly in the back. I rode one time in the front, but this ride is so good. Basically, you got these T-bar, or not T-bar, you got these restraints. Basically, they're a zoom and gyro drop of dooms restraints. But you just feel so out of control, your upper body. You're for whipping around and stuff. Honestly, I've never got that feeling on any other roller coaster, really. Besides Mind Blower at at Fun Spot Kissimmee. And I love that feeling, getting my upper body just tossed around and stuff. It hurts my back a little bit, but it's so fun, and the ejector moments on this ride are so good. It's so intense, and the restraints really didn't bother me that much. But anyway, as my number 1 coaster at Hershey Park is Sky Rush. If you guys like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys out in the queues.